Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of Coach's Corner. It's time to talk winter sports as we leave the fall sports and get into basketball and wrestling, and that's what we're going to do as we get set for Thanksgiving, and then of course a big month of December. Chris Walker is our head wrestling coach, and he joins us now on his first Coach's Corner of the year. How many years for you now, Coach? I know that you a third-year head coach and several years as an assistant coach too.
Well, this is my 11th year in Ponca. It's my 6th year as the head coach, and
what did I say, the third year? I guess I've missed a few of those years, but it goes by quick, doesn't it, Coach?
well, I think when you've been here 30-something years, you've been following these. They just kind of run together, don't they?
They do. Well, anyway, 6 years as our head coach. You've done a great job, and I know you're excited about another good season this year.
Yeah, we're really excited about the season this year. Got a lot of good kids. A lot of kids that did a lot of work over the summer. So looking forward to seeing some of that hard work pay off, and got some young kids that are going to step up for us. So really excited about the prospects of this year.
I was over there the other day, and it looks like you might have green, and that means inexperienced. You might have more inexperienced boys, but the numbers are going up. You've got a lot more kids in the room, and that includes junior high and high school. And I guess that's a good first step, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. When we lost all those kids a couple of years back, it affected our room and our numbers, and so as a coaching staff, we knew that we had to address that, and so we started at our youth program and really did some things there. Have a open night for all the kids that come up and play in the wrestling room and meet the high school coaches and some of the athletes, and then we've got a great elementary coaching staff that does a great job of recruiting and really pushing and working in the youth football league, trying to recruit kids for wrestling. And then as for our junior high, we really went and hit the middle schools and really tried to promote to raise our numbers in there. So we'll see that here in the next couple of years, that increase in numbers coming back.
Speaking of promoting, you promoted your junior high wrestling coach to your high school staff, so there's a few changes in your coaching staff this year.
Yeah, we all, when we give titles, it just kind of doesn't fit us in the wrestling room because we all share responsibilities, but needed somebody to work with our bigger guys. Carl Lyons is, retired from coaching, and so we needed somebody to help Coach Young work with our 160 and up, and Mark does a good job down at the junior high, and so we brought him up, and he's the guy that's going to be working with our heavyweights and upper weight guys. And then Kyle Fry, who's an assistant for the football program, he's taken over with our junior high, and he'll do a great job down there.
You alluded to Pat, and of course, if you don't know, that's Pat Young, who, besides me, maybe the only guy that's seen more Wildcat wrestling in the last 35 years. He's going to help you again this year.
Yeah, and Pat, I'd be lost without Coach Young. He's pretty special to me, and as a young coach, it's important to learn from all coaches. But as a young coach, it's great for me because I've got my coach right there. Coach Young, he's always advised me on things to do, and just about every decision that we make as a coaching staff, and it's just great having somebody with his expertise there.
It's kind of interesting because even when you came in with Coach Stidley and you worked under him, it was kind of the same way, though. I don't think you guys ever had one guy answer all the questions. There was a group of guys, and it's kind of the way Ponca's been coached, is that everybody has responsibilities, but everybody knows how to conduct themselves to get ready for whether it's a practice or whether it's a match. Everybody just kind of jumps in and does what's needed, don't they?
Yeah, talking about whenever I first got here, and I feel blessed and I feel spoiled, so to speak, because since I've been coaching, I've been around some of the best coaches in Oklahoma, and daily I've been taught lessons from the guys I've worked with in our wrestling room, and then look at our other coaches on our other staffs. A lot of seasoned coaches that I get to learn from every day, and On our wrestling staff, we've, I've been under, Todd Stidley, and then as an assistant, I've got Coach Young, who is a head coach, and then we got Jim Sharon, who's been around 30+ years, and then Carl Lyons. Just been blessed, and it's just one unit. We all know what we're doing. We all work together, and make decisions together. I mean, that's just what a wrestling room does, though.
Well, if you don't think it's just Chris and I talking about them, keep in mind Pat and Todd both are in Hall of Fames now. So we're talking about people that have not only achieved a great deal here in our community, but statewide. You're on your way there. Last season you guys really came on strong at the end of the year. Hunt had a great season. Shelby had a great season. I guess you start with those guys when you take a look at this year's team.
Yeah, you always got to look at your returners, but it's important for us to produce kids too. We don't want to just look forward towards next year and expect the guys that placed this year, to be the only kids that we have that are going to compete well for us next year. We want those JV kids and those kids that were, this close. We want them to close that gap. And so we've got several of those kids on this team this year that, along with Shelby and Brendan, I think will make an impact. A lot of it has to do with decisions they make, maturity, work ethic, things that they can address. But I look forward to them doing that.
Yeah, you look at last year, Little Burns, your 3-pounder. Not many people would have given him much of a chance in November of last year to reach the state tournament, but he came on, and that's, I guess, the joy of coaching and the satisfaction you get is when you get a kid that starts out and really improves throughout the season, and all of a sudden he's a regional placer and he's going to the state tournament. That's a great joy, and I know you're going to have some kids come through like that again this year.
Mm-hmm. Talking about Mr. Burns, as a coach, those are the moments that you're really rewarded for what you do. I remember when we was competing for state titles, it just seemed like, the win was the reward. Mm-hmm. And as a young coach, you learn a lot of things, but now dealing with some of the diversity as the team we've had, I've really got to experience the other side of coaching, and that's just to experience the short wins, the little successes that you have in a wrestling room and as a coach, and Mr. Burns definitely is one of those kids. He battled all year long. From the junior high to the high school, we rotated him back and forth. There was a time halfway through the year where we just didn't know if he mentally had it, and so we sent him back to the junior high. He came back really strong, and I expect him to do well this year, but it's extremely rewarding when a kid like that puts in the work and it pays off at the end.
Let's talk about the schedule a little bit. Like last year where you knew you weren't going to get a home match for a while. This year we've got some good matches in December, but it is another treacherous schedule. You wrestle all the big boys again this year. So, again, it's not what you do in December, it's what you do in February, but it's going to be exciting for our fans.
Yeah, definitely. We haven't changed our schedule any. I could easily moved it around where we get a few more wins, but that's just going to help us in our stats. It's not going to help us at the state tournament. Mm-hmm. And it may be a little easier for me to win 4 or 5 extra matches because I padded the schedule because I not sat in front of a crowd losing, but it's what the boys need. They need to have a tough schedule. They need to wrestle the best kids in the state. We need to wrestle the best teams in the state so that we can get ranked and seeded. And that's the only way you get better in a wrestling room is to wrestle the best.
I like that. Yeah, you can wrestle easy people. In February, everybody thinks you're going to qualify for the state tournament, and you don't, and it's a big surprise. Well, that's probably one of the reasons why you do have some kids that come out of nowhere. It's because of the tough schedule you have in January that prepares them for the February regional tournament. Yeah, definitely.
It's important process. It's one of the steps that we really think about as a coaching staff, and it's just part of the plan. We've got to go wrestle the competition. No matter how bad it feels, we just got to swallow our pride but I really think we're going to have a lot more success this year. I know we're going to be a lot more competitive than we were last year. So really excited.
Great. One date I wanted people to know about, I know it's a month away, but it's December 13th. It's on a Tuesday. We're going to unveil the statues for the late Doug Bluebaugh as well as Shelby Wilson. There's going to be a great ceremony that night. A lot of people are going to be there to come back for that wonderful ceremony honoring those two gold medalists. And again, I want people to kind of circle that on their calendar. Tuesday, December 13th. That'll be a special night for you, Coach.
Yeah. Talking about two Hall of Fame coaches that influenced my life, I've not only had those guys, but I've had an Olympic outstanding wrestler just about every step of the way with me. You know, not only as a coach, but personally, Coach Bluebaugh has influenced me. I can remember as my first year as a head coach, we was fixing to get on the bus to go to the state tournament. He showed up on his moped, and he took me in the equipment room and he sat me down and he gave me a real big speech and sent me on my way. And so, yeah, it's real important that we represent those guys and do it in a way that you know, acknowledges their accomplishments. And I just would love to invite anybody in the community, not just the wrestling community, but anybody that's a Ponca City, you know, member. Definitely, it's a great night. It's a historic night, and it's a good night to come out to watch some wrestling, but also see those statues unveiled. Had a group of people that just worked tirelessly along with the community to see this achieved, and it's a great moment for Ponca.
Well, it's a crowning moment for our beautiful field house too. You know, we spent a year watching that under construction, and the teams suffered a little bit because they didn't get on their home court or their home mat for a couple of months. But you know, it's kind of the final piece of the puzzle to this. And when we see those statues, I think it'll be a heartfelt moment for a lot of people, especially with the tragedy of Doug passing away much too early. But you know the thing about Doug Bluebaugh, even though he passed away too early, he left his influence. He did a lot in his lifetime, and you mentioned that he was one of the great influences of your life. And when people see those statues, they are not the older Shelby Wilson and Doug Bluebaugh, but they're when they were young. Not as young as you, but still pretty young. If you haven't seen those statues or haven't been able to go to the Robson Fieldhouse and see all the renovations, that'd be a great night just to take it all in. That'll be a great night for, as you said, not just the wrestling community, but for the entire town.
Yeah, definitely. It's you know, it's going to be a great day for Ponca, and like you said, those statues are from when they were 35 and you know, 30 to 35. I can't remember how old they were, but you know, they're definitely in shape in the statues, but I don't think Doug Bluebaugh ever lost any of his shape, because he was 70-something years old and I was fresh out of college, and he showed me a lesson or two.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he was wonderful to work with. It'll be a big loss on the sides, but I know those boys and the coaches will remember him very fondly. And in December, we hope that you'll be there. Coach, I feel like we had to wrestle tomorrow. I bet you're ready to get out there and get those guys out. I bet you're tired of wrestling in that room with everybody.
yeah, we definitely get tired of being in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, like you said, we get a lot of young guys, so you know, we've had to approach wrestling a lot differently in our wrestling room. Had to doing a lot of basic techniques, just a lot of drills, a lot of just things that make being in a room long. And so we're excited and looking forward to competition.
They may be better, but they're not going to outwork Chris Walker's team, are they? They're not going to be in better shape anyway.
I think that's just a Ponca City tradition.
Absolutely. So, hey, good to see you, bud. I haven't seen you in a
seeing
while. Great to see you. Chris Walker, we'll see him all winter this year. And we'll visit with him each month on Coach's Corner.